All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm your host, Noah Musamali. Welcome back to the podcast where we talk ball. Now, we're going to be talking about the 2025 NBA playoffs, the road to the crown. So, right now, we're going to cover round one in both the East Western Conference. We're going to make some predictions. We're going to go through averages of players. You're going to get it all here, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right. We're starting the Western Conference. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Oklahoma being the first seed and Memphis being the eighth seed. The series result in this was pretty lackluster. It was the Thunder sweeping 4-0, really just taking out the trash. The Oklahoma City Thunder really dominated the series, including a historic 51-point victory in Game 1. It was just brutal. So we're not going to spend too much time on that game, to be honest with you guys. But the next game, one of my favorites in the West. Honestly, I know my favorite, but I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, I think you guys could probably tell. But second game that was pretty interesting to watch was the Houston Rockets, the second seed, versus the Golden State Warriors, who are the seventh seed. So the Warriors, this series won 4-3. It went to 7 games, which was pretty surprising to me. So Game 7 was what I want to talk about. Buddy Hield with 33 points. I feel like Buddy Hield has just been a key factor for the Golden State Warriors so far. 33 points in Game 7. That was a beautiful game by Buddy Hield, and he really pulled through when the Warriors needed him. Speaking of the Warriors, their whole postseason just has been beautiful. Ever since they acquired Jimmy Butler, things have only been looking up. So can't wait to see what they can do in the future. All right, next game, my personal. I can't even tell. The West, if you can't tell, I have a lot of favorites in the West. But let's get through with this first. The third seed in the Los Angeles Lakers versus the sixth seed in the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves here actually surprisingly won pretty quickly with a gentleman sweep, 4-1. And we know who's at the helm of the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, of course. He dropped 43 in game 4. He's just been going crazy, and you love to see it. Anthony Edwards, a young 23-year-old player coming in the league, dominating, rising up in the playoffs. He's been a real help for the Timberwolves. He's been their number one option. He's been averaging 32 3-point. He has a 3-point percentage of 42%. He's just been dominating over these playoffs. So, yeah, man, the Timberwolves upset I would say that's a big upset. They upset the Nuggets in 5 games. Now, I think, well, the Timberwolves versus the Lakers was my favorite. Like, that was my favorite personal series, but games wise, this was the best series in my personal opinion in both the East and West, and that would be the Denver Nuggets, the 4 seed, which is pretty surprising. That means the West is stacked. Anyways, against the LA Clippers, who are the 5th seed. Now, this series went to 7 games, and ultimately the Nuggets triumphed over the Clippers. So, this was an interesting series. Seeing Kawhi and Harden get back out there, that was, first of all, I want to give my props to them. We haven't seen Kawhi play in a minute, and as soon as he came out there, he was killer, man. He's really been doing his thing, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. James Harden as well. They both unfortunately disappeared in the 7th game, which is unfortunate to see, but they were doing their thing through the whole series. They just didn't show up when it mattered most. Now, Denver edged out the Clippers in a tightly contested 7-game series, and it's mainly because of the man of the hour, the rightful MVP, Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic has been averaging 27 points. He's been averaging 8 assists. He's been averaging 13 rebounds with a field goal percentage of 47.8, 3-point percentage of 38, and a free throw percentage of 76. That's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. As we can see, those are clearly MVP numbers. And being able to do this in the postseason, in the playoffs, I think that's just another caliber of greatness. So we're watching greatness in the making. So, you love to see it. Some other averages were LeBron James, 40 years old, by the way. He's averaging 25, 5, and 9. 25 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds with a field goal percentage of 59 and a 3-point percentage of 36. Now, Those are crazy numbers, especially considering he's in his 22nd season and LeBron is 40 years old. That's just mind boggling to me. Other averages, Steph Curry, can't forget about him. He averaged 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Beautiful work. Curry is also getting old, so let's not forget about that. And yeah, moving on, we also have Luka Doncic, who averaged 30 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, with a 3-point percentage of 35% and a field goal percentage of 45, which is not that bad. Anyways, now let's move on to the East. Now, to be honest with you all, the East is stacked, but compared to the West, it's really not that stacked. So let's start off with what I think was the biggest upset. Milwaukee, the number 1 seed, the Milwaukee Bucks versus the 8th seed Indiana Pacers. The Pacers won the series 4-1 with Tyrese Halliburton at the helm, riding the ship for Indiana and really coming through. Tyrese Halliburton led Indiana to a dominant series victory, showcasing his emergence as a playoff star. People were calling him overrated. People were saying he shouldn't have made the All-Star game. He shouldn't have made All NBA team. Now he's proving him wrong. He just knocked out the first seed Bucks in 5 games. Gentleman sweep, that's pretty crazy in my opinion. Like, Giannis on the let's not forget Giannis and Dame. Let's speak about Giannis's averages. Giannis averaged 33 points. He averaged 7 assists. He averaged 15 rebounds with a field goal percentage of 61, a 3-point percentage of 20, and a free throw percentage of 70. That is insane. Those are just monster numbers. 33, 6, and 15. Like, Giannis really could have been in the MVP conversation this year too, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic, those are 2 all-time greats, of course. But yeah, that was what really blew my mind. The Pacers being able to knock out a powerhouse like the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games was what really blew me. Unfortunately, Damian Lillard did end up hurt, which is sad to see, as he's getting pretty old. Like, he's pretty late in his career, and it's sad to see this is a career-ending injury, and he's getting it late in his career. So we'll see. Hopefully, he can bounce back from it. We're praying prayers up for Damian Lillard, and we'll see what's going on. Now, the next series in the East was the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are the 2nd seed, versus the Miami Heat, who are the 7th seed. Now, there's nothing to really see here. The Cavs won 4-0. Cleveland swept Miami with commanding performances, including a 138-83 blowout in Game 2. That was just pure dominance. It's a 55-point blowout in Game 2. We can see the similarities with the Cavaliers and the Thunder, both blowing out their opponents in a sweep. That was just beautiful work, and really just another day in the office for them. Miami with a really good team this year, actually. They have Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. Yeah, Cleveland this year is looking promising. And they faced the Miami Heat, which honestly, after losing Jimmy Butler, they haven't really been able to bounce back. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, the third game, which was actually kind of interesting to me, was the Boston Celtics versus Orlando Magic. Boston being the 3rd seed and the Orlando Magic being the 6th seed. Celtics won 4-2. And Boston overcame a strong challenge from Orlando, securing the series in 6 games. Now, I expected Boston to sweep Orlando, I'm not going to lie, but Orlando did not go down without a fight. And with Paulo Banchero at the helm for Atlanta, averaging 29, 6, and 5, which is pretty surprising. I did not know Paulo Banchero was like that. But yeah, they didn't go down without a fight. But unfortunately, they did end up going down to the Boston Celtics in 6 games. Now, the most interesting series in the East, in my opinion, were the New York Knicks, who are the 4th seed, versus the Detroit Pistons, who are the 5th seed. Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges led New York to a thrilling Game 7 victory. Like, that Game 7, in my opinion, was really fun to watch. And that buzzer beater that Jalen Brunson hit over Amen Thompson was just beautiful. Oh, Asar Thompson. Sorry, they're twins. But yeah, that was beautiful work. Seeing him getting the ISO, being able to shake off Asar Thompson and hit the shot. That was just beautiful. His averages throughout the playoffs are 30 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds on a field goal percentage of 53.5 and a 3-point percentage of 67 with a free throw percentage of 82. It's pretty solid averages. Jalen Brunson is not staying quiet in these games. That's pretty interesting to see. Okay, that concludes the first round of the NBA playoffs. Can't wait to see what happens in the second round. Here are the matchups for the second round.
So starting with the
East, the matchups are the Indiana Pacers versus Cleveland, the New York Knicks versus Boston. Now that's definitely going to be an interesting series in my opinion. I think for the Knicks versus Boston, which is the more interesting game in my opinion, I think that's going to be the best series in round 2, at least in the East. For the Knicks versus Boston, I honestly have Boston winning, probably in 6. I feel like the Detroit Pistons being able to take the New York Knicks to 7 was kind of concerning. Now they have Cade Cunningham and Asar Thompson, which are good players, but to Boston that would be no challenge. They would get it done in 6 or even in 5. So the fact that Boston really had a dogfight with the Detroit Pistons just puts no doubt in my mind that a healthy Celtics team is whooping the Knicks in 7. Well, let's not say whooping, but they'll beat the Knicks in 7. Now, Cleveland versus the Pacers, I have a hot take. I think the Pacers are running it back. I think the Pacers are making it out the East this year again, taking it all the way to the finals. But let's not go there. Let's talk about the second round for now. Let me not get ahead of myself. So the reason I think the Pacers, while they are the underdogs in the series, I think they have, in my opinion, a better chance at winning this game. And I'll tell you why. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers have not shown me in a playoff setting that they've been able to get it done. And we'll go like on a deeper level, like Donovan Mitchell on a playoff series has not shown me he's able to get it done against a team. Even back then in the bubble when they were playing Denver, he couldn't get it done. When he's playing a decent, good team, he couldn't get it done. Now, the Pacers, on the other hand, they just beat the first seed Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo, an MVP candidate. People don't talk about that, but he's an MVP candidate. He's playing at an MVP caliber level. So, and they got rid of him and Damian Lillard, who unfortunately did get injured, but they got rid of them in 5. Now, I've seen Halliburton do this. We've seen it done him last year. This, to me, just proves to me that he's able to get it done on a high level, on a high stage. And for that reason, I have the Indiana Pacers in 7 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now let's move on to the West. Denver Nuggets versus Thunder. Now this, to me, is going to be the most interesting series, I think, in the entire round 2. And I have Oklahoma City winning in 7 games. And let me tell you why. Oklahoma City Thunder is an all-around better team than the Denver Nuggets, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when the entire Denver Nuggets team is playing at a high level, I think they're the best team in the league. There's nobody that can stop them. The thing is consistency. We know Nikola Jokic can consistently provide for the Nuggets always. He's always going to provide there. Triple-dub master, MVP caliber. He's always going to be providing. The thing is whether Aaron Gordon can deliver, whether Michael Porter Jr. can deliver, whether Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, whether they can deliver. And that uncertainty has shown its shine bright throughout the playoffs. First, the Clippers. Aaron Gordon was able to show up in some games, but the fear I have is the Nuggets not being able to show up consistently. They may show up for 1 or 2 games. Jamal Murray may pop off there. Aaron Gordon might pop off there. But I don't think they can consistently play at a high level. All of them cohesively, I don't believe that. Now, on the other hand, the Thunder, I've seen them get it done before. They're the first seed in the West. They've done this, and the entire Thunder team is a two-way roster. That's what's also very dangerous. Everybody on that team can play offense and defense. Chet Holmgren can play offense and defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can play offense and defense. Alex Caruso can play offense and defense. Jaden Williams can play offense and defense. That's what's really dangerous to me, because I feel like in the moment when the time is really calling, I have more faith in a young OKC team getting it done against the inconsistent Denver team, which Denver has won a chip before. They have experience. Let's not forget. I just can't rely on the inconsistency of Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. I just don't have faith that they'll be able to provide at a high level against a team like OKC, which they're probably going to go 7 games till 7 games. I just don't think they can provide and play at a high level all consistently at the same time. I don't see that. So I have OKC in 7. Then the next series we have the Timberwolves versus Golden State. Now this one is pretty easy for me. We just saw Anthony Edwards tear through the Lakers, who have LeBron James, who have Austin Reeves, who have Luka Doncic, and he tore through them no problem in 5 games with a gentleman sweep. So for me, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, that's not really a problem to Anthony Edwards. I think he's handling the Warriors in 6 games. Those are my predictions. If you guys want more predictions all the way to the finals, tap in. Make sure to subscribe, turn post notifications on. Make sure you guys tune in, man. We're going to be dropping 1 episode a month. Yeah, man. Tune into the podcast every month. Noah signing out.